Greetings and salutations. Today I'm reviewing another LEGO City piece. I've told you before I like LEGO, and if I see the stuff, I tend to end up buying it, especially if it's on the cheap. This time it's the 60081. It's basically a pickup truck, so a car's broken down. This man's being rescued by this man. Those of you who are familiar with a Bridge series might think what I think when you see this fellow in the flesh. Does that not look like Little Karibo? I think it does. But let's just take a look at what else we have here. So we've got the 24/7 service. So presumably somebody's not getting any sleep on the phones. All the usual legal jargon and so on. I'm just going to block the light out a little bit. It's a new set and I'm still getting used to the lighting setup here, so I'm just making things up as I go along, really.
Oh, my hero!
You're a man, you don't need to speak like that.
Oh, but I feel like doing this.
Get it out, man, that's scary. Oh. And then the story on the back. I think I've just broken the seal a little bit. No, the seals are intact. So he was driving along one day and the wheel came off, apparently. So this man came along and saved him. Picked him up, gave him a lift, and they all lived happily ever after. Let's see what we've got then. Yes, that is spookily just like Little Karibo. I don't personally know Little Karibo whatsoever, but I have seen a few of his videos, a few of his vlogs and so on and so forth. Seems a perfectly nice fellow, and that guy looks just like him. So if you're a Little Karibo fan, you can get, if you buy this set, you can get Little Karibo in Lego form. How's that for value? Okay, so it's 3 bags. It's 3 bags, and one of the pieces either wasn't in the bag or either that wasn't in the bag. None of the bags have broken, so that just wasn't in the bag. So it's either an afterthought or they're just being lazy. Stickers. What do I do with stickers? Well, I don't use them, so goodbye. And there's the instructions. So it looks like there's 2 sets of instructions. Yes, of course, there's 2 sets of instructions because there's 2 different vehicles. Okay. Well, I'll go take a look at these, put them together, and get back to you. And there we are, all done. I'd say in total that probably took about 20 minutes, which seems to be, well, when you consider the simplicity of this design, it was, maybe 8 minutes. It's actually very similar overall to another kit I've built, which I'll bring an example of along in a minute or so. This was a lot more complicated, but still relatively simple. In both cases though, the roofs did tend to be a bit difficult to put on. Things don't quite seem to align quite correctly in some regards here. But that's easily something you can work around here. You do have to be careful with these transparent sections, as they're not quite as strong as the more traditional solid sections, so please, if you are putting these together and you're having difficulty and you can't get it to work, stop, take a break, go off and do something else for a little while, take a breather, because you don't want to ruin it. Overall, as usual, they do make for very good looking pieces. I've actually modified this one slightly. If you notice, there's some orange sections here. They don't actually come with this car, it just comes with brake lights and headlights only. This had one spare orange piece with it, so I put that on there to give it sort of indicator stalk. I've took another spare orange piece from another set and put it on just to complete it somewhat. Now this one actually has doors, and I think you can see what the problem there is. There's no realistic way for somebody to get in and out of a vehicle like that. They probably should have gave you a different front window or something like that. But it all holds together quite nicely. A couple of these sections did need a little more pressure applied to them to keep them in. Various bits, lots and lots of flashing amber lights here. I know it's an emergency vehicle and everything, but does it really need that many? Surely that alone would have been enough. But you've got these other sections here. The actual mechanism here works quite well. I'll just try doing this left-handed, so to speak. Okay, so you just put it down like that, and it goes flat. And then you can just put that on top there. It only needs to go into the bumper and then lift it up like that, and it works quite nicely. Oh, I've just driven over somebody. So it's perfect for recreating those scenes from Grand Theft Auto 5 where you're playing as Franklin, who's doing all those tow truck missions. That said, how come there's never any black Lego characters? You never seem to see anybody who doesn't have the yellow skin, which in true Simpsons tradition I suppose represents white people. Yes, there's probably somebody somewhere made complaints about that. Let's just take a look at these two figures. So here we have our damsel in distress and his rescuer, Little Karibo. He even has one of his trademark baseball caps. Figures look quite nice. They're very well done, although they're completely blurred out right now. Let's see if we can get the focus to work. Almost. Oh, had it there for a second. Nope, lost it. Had it, lost it. Ah, there we go. There we go. A little bit better, I'll just move them back there. Okay. So, standard Lego figures. There's no spare faces on either of them, so just one expression each. So a fairly neutral smile on this fellow, and just a look of I'm doing my job, and that's about it. Quite a few spare pieces in both cases. You can probably make use of them in some other regards. I've already got plans for these red bits involving a police car. Speaking of which, the police pursuit car that I reviewed in an earlier one, you can see quite clearly that a lot of the parts are more or less the same basic base unit, same wheels. There's not much really that you can say other than as a comparison when you compare them side by side like that. I'll just move them back a bit more. Although they've got exactly the same basic base unit, this one's a little longer overall, both front and back. Doesn't make any real difference, but they both have the same design flaw as far as the roofs are concerned, in that they don't quite hook up correctly without a little bit of not quite brute force and certainly not ignorance. But I think overall, when you compare them, they do look quite good. They're not as large as some other car sets I've seen from Lego. Tell you what, I told you I had some plans involving the police car. Let's just put that on. Red lights somehow just make that seem a bit more official, although I don't think I really like the look there. Kind of makes it look a bit like a taxi for the red light district. Let's just see. See what I mean? The roof just came right off again. There you go. Are you interested in some curb crawling tonight, sir? Yes, if you just follow me and I'll... Yes, it could be a very subtle way of the police trying to get people arrested. We'll just put those there like that. I think we'll leave it at that. Well, thank you very much for watching. Remember, you can comment below, you can like if you liked it, you can subscribe if you want more, and I'll see you next time. Toodle bit.